Welcome back to another episode of Let's Face the Facts. I'm your host. My name is David Almeida. I'm an actor in Orlando, Florida, and every week I sit down with an actor or artist friend, and we watch an episode of the classic sitcom, The Facts of Life. Then we hit record, we get to talking, and we talk about the show and lots of other stuff. This week, my guests are Matthew Arter and Paul Padilla. But you already knew that because this is part 2 of our viewing of The Facts of Life Goes to Paris, which is a TV movie that they aired right before the premiere of season 4. And we covered the first half of it last week. And if you haven't listened to that, you might wanna. And then this week is the second and final part of it. Once again, as last week, apologies in advance for any inconsistencies in sound quality. This one wasn't quite as much of a problem to edit as the first half. I think it was partially an operator error, so my learning curve did take place, and I was able to do this one a little bit more easily, but still, it may be a little soft, and you may get a little bit of an echo, and it is what it is. And it's worth every penny that you paid for it. I promise. So, I think we're ready to jump on in. Let's do this. Let's face the facts with Matthew Arter and Paul Padilla. Well, welcome back, gentlemen. We have returned. It is a week later now. We are bright-eyed, bushy-tailed.
Oh, I lost 4 pounds.
Fresh as a daisy.
I found 4 pounds.
Yeah. You. So. We were just saying before, we were just like, good God, we just got to get through this. Mm-hmm. We had fun. The energy level in the room compared to 2 hours ago when we started.
Wrap this shit.
We were like, oh, this was funny. This was awful. We're having fun. Now we're just like.
Now we're drudging through Paris.
Get through this.
Joe meets the boy. Okay.
Yeah. So let's just jump right on in, kids. Part 3. Tootie and Natalie are out with GK, and they're seeing Paris. And that was when I believe I said, I smell a montage.
Yeah.
Because that's where we really do get a good travelogue. We got it a little bit when they first arrived and they were on their buses or their respective whatevers.
But it's also delightfully stock footage.
Oh, God, yes.
And it's also, I love the voiceovers over a montage like that. Like, it's so...
it was looped in the studio.
It's so Charlie Brown. You know what I mean? When I was watching, I was like, you know what? They did stock footage, and they filmed the rest of this, funnily enough, I don't know if you know this, at Epcot, which is interesting. I don't know if you
That's why the Eiffel Tower looks so tiny and
small.
Off in the distance.
It's not because... And they did that so that the girls would see how big they looked compared to the Eiffel Tower, and they would want to lose weight. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah. Oh, and a moment, damn it, from last week's show, from the first half of this, when we see them suffering through the school, one of the things we see is them outdoors doing like a calisthenics gym thing, where they're having to do jumping jacks and drop and give push-ups and stuff. And the producers were like, yeah, do a 70th take of that.
I remember that. Yeah. I wonder if they said things like, okay, my little piggies. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're just horrible.
The Judy Garland, my little hunchback
But they had
stuff.
the craft service table. They always talked about it. And they said it was hard to
They were also teenage girls.
Exactly.
And Charlotte Rae did adjust the craft services table to healthier stuff when she got healthy at the beginning of season 2. But according to the interviews with the girls, they're like, yeah, when they tried to foist like healthy, we just snuck candy and shit behind their backs. They were like, we're not, fuck that. Yeah. It's like, I'm 16. I'm not eating damn carrots and celery. What the hell's the matter with you?
Exactly.
And I couldn't agree more. My teenage self was the same way. It was, I'm with you. I would too. If it's there and it's available.
I would be like Twinkies, then give it. Give
Paul, I love to bake. You're gonna weigh 500 pounds. I'm just telling you.
Well, there we go.
So we're out. Tootie and Natalie are out with GK and they're seeing Paris. And throughout the course of the cheesy voiceovers, he is playing that he is drunk or hungover.
Yeah.
And slowly, as the day wears on, he's getting better, and you seem like you're feeling better. You're getting your focus back. And he's like, yeah, well, the buildings aren't moving now and stuff like that. So, they don't just re-inspire a writer. I think they lead a man to sobriety.
They completely do.
Over the course of a 12-hour day.
Yeah.
So just putting that out there. And it gets to the point where he gets his energy back so much that he is going, I want you to see this, then I want you to go over there, then we're going to do this tour. And Tootie and Natalie are like, we're fucking tired. Could we?
And this is the first offer of seeing Paris at night. Because doesn't Mrs. Garrett get that offer from that guy? I want to show you Paris at night. And Blair gets that offer as well.
Oh, yeah. We will take a moonlight walk along the Seine.
Wants to show them fucking Paris at night.
At night, yeah. Because murders. Right. Yeah. So we get to David and Joe, who arrive at a little hotel somewhere. And we meet, I believe the role in IMDb is creepy ass French hotel clerk.
Weirdo.
Oh my God.
It's weird for me. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Even when Matthew didn't want to fuck him.
Yeah,
wow.
When I go, oh, he's creepy.
It made me nervous. He made me nervous.
Like, he didn't say a word in English, so we have no idea what he was saying to him. Like, it sounded like he was setting up a DP, like a triangle. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, he's like, you get the back door.
Leering as David is trying to arrange getting a room in his, the implication is, I know what you guys want a hotel room for.
See, I thought the implication was like, oh, you bring me this girl, we're going to do together.
Oh,
like,
okay. That could totally be.
Like French spies.
That could totally be.
We're going to do together. Why am I a Mexican spy? Yeah. Anyway.
But the thing is, if you took Marty Feldman and Rowan Atkinson as Mr. Bean and made a much less attractive child out of them, he was just so gross.
He's like licking his lips practically.
He was icky. He was icky.
But the gist of the scene is that there's only one room available, so they have to room together. Oh, yeah. And as he keeps leering at Joe, Joe finally turns to him and says, how do you say in French, do you want to be cleaning your teeth up off the floor? And the guy gets the hint and backs the fuck off, and thank God.
For now. Till he shows him the room where he's back to whacking off while he's like, when are we getting this started?
Looking through the hole in the picture with the eyes, yeah. So they go into the bedroom, and Joe says, do you see a couch around here? It's like, this room is 4 by 6. It's like, I performed on stages larger than this room. It's like, no, I don't see a couch in the room where we're both standing and can see everything. But the question is, well, how were the sleeping arrangements going to be? Well, he takes off his outer shirt, and he's wearing an almost sleeveless black T-shirt and dark jeans. And, of course, I started singing, I got chills, they're multiplying, because he looked like Danny Zuko.
He could have gotten it.
And Joe instead zips up her life vest, Marty McFly.
I would wash his butt.
Yeah,
I would wash his butt.
I might be like, I'm okay.
They get into bed, Joe covered in clothes on top of the covers. He's under the covers, and Matthew pointed out, what did you say?
Oh yeah, they were stinky by then.
Yeah,
and he's French, so.
And it's probably been 3 days since both of them had bathed.
Yeah.
Horrifying.
And he's uncircumcised because he's French. So, like, you know.
I get it.
Let's stop there and just say it as in rhetorically the body, or it would be a dirty situation. Yeah. Fromage.
And not in a hot way, I'm guessing, at this point. Like,
no.
Maybe after day 1.
Yeah. I mean, he's already French. He probably didn't smell good to begin with.
Thank you.
Though, but he's cute.
I'm sorry.
I get it.
Yeah. Anyhow, I think we go to commercial there. And then the next morning, when we wake up, he comes in the room. Joe is under the covers.
With what looks like icing on her face?
No, stop.
Did they have breakfast? Was that cut out?
Was there.
No, stop it. Now. But he's like, what's the matter? Are you upset? She's like, yeah, I'm upset about last night.
That's dramatic.
And it's like, the implication is they slept together, but you're mad about, I'm mad at you because, you raped me. It's like, what the fuck do they think they're implying?
But then
it's always the man's fault when two people have sex. Is that what? That's such
it is though. Yeah.
But then the joke is she whips off the covers. She's fully dressed and she says, "You were supposed to wake me at 2:00 so I would do my shift on the floor and you get the bed." He said, "I tried to wake you," and he couldn't. So
I thought this is my chance to get anal.
No.
If she's going to sleep through it.
I mean, that's how I was.
Stop.
The guy was like, when I dated the...
Yeah, I just feel like, a French guy, the girl who's not waking up.
No, we are not. Wow.
All right.
We are horrible people for...
All right.
Anyway, then we go to Mrs. Garrett shopping at the market. Mrs. Garrett is out to market with Pierre, and she is all, "Oh, look at these booths with food that you can, this is so much more interesting than going to the supermarket."
Yeah, it's a farmer's market.
Yeah.
The dietitian.
You've never been to a farmer's market in your own country?
In upstate New York.
Yeah. Really? But to Mrs. Garrett, this was like the height of foreignness.
No, I love her.
He's trying to get her to relax about her stress over this final exam meal. And she's like, "All right, I've got scallions." And he says, "Well, maybe you should try shallots." And she's like, "What?" And he's like, "Well, but what about that? Well, maybe you could try sweet butter." He cooks at the restaurant in his... But then, so he's making suggestions, and she's like, "You know what? I'm gonna try it."
Works out, yeah.
So then from there we go back to Joe and David biking, picnicking, old woman with a pussy. Don't need to really belabor that.
It's one of her great loves of Joe's life, and
Other than Blair.
yeah, exactly. No, it's true. Other than Blair, but
Yeah. So we've gotten the city montages. Now we have the country montage of them being out that way. Still, for how far away Le Mans is, why is it taking them days? She said it was like, 120 miles?
Yeah. But they're walking with a bike.
I know.
So
It's just taking them an awfully long time. Anyway, then we go back to Mrs. Garrett and Pierre. He's still trying to comfort her. She's still stressing out. And this is where he says, "Maybe you should relax by letting me show you my Paris by night."
they have a night out in the town.
Yeah. And he's nice. We like Pierre. Pierre has
like
turned out
him
to
a
be a
lot.
lovely support
and
system.
she's showing some cleave on this night out. She's got some...
and I
bitties.
want her to give it up.
Yeah.
Like, she needs to
She
get
needs to
some.
put some sweet butter on his baguette.
I mean,
No.
if you were going to Paris and you have to deal with all these girls and shit, like, yes, you need a night out. You need to get some dick.
Agreed.
Strange.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah.
So then we go to Blair over at her party.
Oh, we're talking about Blair now. Okay.
Yeah, we're talking about Blair. We've moved on.
Uncut strange.
So then Blair is at her party, and she meets some people, and they know her mother, and nothing really fucking happens, does it?
Well, she realizes that it's really not her element.
And I think
society.
this is kind of her coming out episode. A little
So?
bit, because she kind of discovers that Blair Warner isn't a Manhattan socialite. She's a bohemian. And I think from this point on, she probably stopped shaving up her junk. You know what I mean? Like
Girls didn't shave their junk in 82.
You're right. It's
like
like
a
a big dark bush, probably. But I think, like maybe she stopped shaving her armpits. You know what I mean? Like she for a while after this. She's like
I can see Blair as like a progressive person.
like an Earth Mother type. She's Blair Warner.
Yeah.
She makes her crafts.
Okay, you can. That is a theory. I will go on record saying I think what this scene was trying to do was, you, Paul, mentioned it. I think you're right. Her being out of her element. She's talking there with American people, and they reference her mother, and they're kind of like, "Ha, we're all hanging out together here. Why even bother leaving home?" And so there is kind of a reaction shot of Blair like, "Yeah, why the fuck am I here? Just hanging with American socialites when I'm supposed to be enjoying the localities and the city." So that's part of Blair's thing going on here. Then we go to a beautiful little French cottage, and Joe and David are sitting at a dinner table with an older Frenchman who is telling a very animated story in French And they're all laughing and haha. We learn that this is David's father. They have conveniently somehow stopped by David's childhood home.
Because he said at the beginning, I'm take you to Le Mans because it is close to my home.
Is it? I didn't catch that.
Suddenly he's Pepe Le Pew. I just wanted that. No.
I'd stay at a hotel with you.
Yeah. I wouldn't make you wake me up at 2 a.m. If you got a Mickey me to get you through it, okay.
Oh, man.
Most people usually have to Mickey me to get through it.
Oh, wow. We do need to point out the lovely moment where he points out that his little brother has a crush on Joe. He's looking at her funny, and he says, but I have told him he will have to wait his turn.
But that was hot.
Ew.
I thought that was hot. I thought it was cute.
It was cute, but wait his turn. Unfortunately, the sick, evil fucks like us
wasn't
think of that sexually.
He's going to run a train on her. And then the very next scene, we show Dad hanging out with Joe by the fire.
Matthew was all about the dad's thinking he's got a shot here. But at one point...
She's got 3 holes. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, no.
I wasn't thinking that way. I was just more like,
Matthew cracked himself up with that one.
I'm proud of you.
I cracked myself up. Just went too far.
Yeah, it was far. But the moment where we
point
point out that the little kid is a crush on her is when he is smiling at her and looking at her all wide-eyed, and he hands her and he passes her the bread, and she takes the basket with the bread and takes out a slice or two. It is square, white, American Wonder fucking bread.
You were so mad about that.
This is France.
Yeah.
It's like you get every type of gorgeous, beautiful bread.
Wonder bread. You were like, what the fuck?
You have baguettes. You have panini. You have panini or Italian.
Punani.
The what?
What?
Huh?
Punani?
Punani.
I will say, like, I'm not trying to gang up on you, so to speak.
Yeah. You guys weren't
I'm
mad
on
at
Paul's team where you seem strangely upset about that as opposed to the other 99 minutes of the movie. The 99 minutes and 50 seconds of the movie.
Of the
disproportionately angry about these 2 pieces of bread. That's what I'm saying.
When it happened, you were just mad.
You were outraged.
I was, and I still am. I'm just like, props person, fail. You do not get an Emmy nomination like everyone else should. Yeah. So there it is. And then while they're hanging out by the fire and they're getting all smoochy, and then a phone call comes. Long story short, David has got to go back to Paris because his boss's wife is sick. He works in a bookstore, and he's got to get back there. And so
after a 4-day walk,
he
gets told
he's got to go back to Paris.
So he works.
He's cute.
130 miles away from his job.
But he's got to go back to work, and he got to go.
What kind of a commute does he have? Like,
well, no, this is his dad's house. He doesn't live with his dad.
He said that's my home, where my home is.
But home is in when I when you go home to
but he still
Indiana.
Has to get back
does he
to
live
work.
in Paris?
I think he does.
Okay, we didn't establish that.
You gotta keep him down on the farm.
That's fine.
We'll get there. But the deal is he says, don't worry, my dad will take care of taking you to Le Mans. You will get to see your race cars as you wanted. Very chivalrous, very gallant, and I think righteous. And we admire him and love him even more for that.
Well, when he said, my dad will take care of you, and then the cut to the dad going, ho, it was uncomfortable.
The dad was a creeper.
Yeah.
He looked really creepy.
Like he peeked around some curtains.
No, he did. He was like, but he did, right? Thank you, Matthew.
Yeah, it was
But
like
then,
70s porn.
He looked really like
he did have a big mustache.
No, he wanted something.
Big bushy mustache.
He wanted something.
It was a little, I'm not going to say it wasn't a little tiny bit.
Yeah.
You guys might be exaggerating.
No, you can't. No, we're not.
Then Joe says, I want to go with you. Wherever you are going, I want to be with you.
Through Nancy McKeon's tears.
And we get the tears.
Crocodile tears.
Well, the thing is, she hasn't cried.
Yeah.
She hasn't had a good cry show in a while. She really hasn't. And when Nancy McKeon cries, it's like when Maleficent's wings reattach themselves to her body. As far as it is like it's like, beams of light come out of her appendages. It is such a superpower of hers. But as the series has progressed, Jo has been given progressively fewer opportunities to show us that softer side, to show her that emotional side, because we know it's there.
Not so much Nancy McKeon crying during the over our heads years.
No, exactly.
Not so many deep moments.
Exactly.
Nancy McKeon.
They didn't have them.
Exactly.
Yeah, they didn't have those.
It was just awkward lesbian flirting with the wonderful George Clooney. So then they land in New York.
I'm so sorry. We got, okay, whatever. Oh my God.
Good night. Wait a minute. Come back. Come back. He's gone.
Oh, shit. Let's wrap this shit up. Okay, so.
Audience missed nothing.
No. So then, the love things are happening. This is a real thing for Jo. She's really into David, and so are we. Thankfully, so are we. We're into it too. That's great.
It's the only thing I bought the whole show.
Agreed, because Nancy McKeon is so fucking good.
And he's
now we come back to Natalie and Tootie with GK.
Yeah,
I know you hate this. We have to do this though. At one point, I did put, "Where are they staying?" Because we missed the scene when they agreed that they would be staying with Mrs. Garrett. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is where we have to stop a moment and say, what is with the costumes? The costumes in this are awful. We're about to get to Blair in the yellow dress. We're not there yet. But at this point, Tootie is in a shiny headband. Mm-hmm. This headband, it's like just a wire with some like sequins on it, and about 4 inches of it are visible at the top crown of her head.
It's not doing anything near what a job that a headband should do.
I said, what is she wearing? And you said, a headband to keep the hair off of her face. Yeah. And she's still got the same penis head bowl cut that she's had.
Can we call it a mushroom head, or is that just penis head but cleaner?
We'll go with that, yeah.
I have a mushroom head.
No, okay, wow. Moving on. Tootie is also wearing a purple polo shirt and these long peach shorts below the knees like culottes gauchos. She looks hideous. Natalie is in a light blue polo shirt with white collar and cuffs.
White collar and cuffs? I missed this scene.
Well, no, like the
it was
edge,
in handcuffs?
The edge of the sleeves.
Oh, got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and she also has a long black skirt that goes to the calf, dark gray hose, and shoes with ankle straps.
They have no bras.
And no bras. Every time they ran, it was like jugs on parade. Yeah. It was like we were laughing.
It's true. I mean,
and poor Mindy Cohn had them tiggle bitty.
Oh yeah,
and she was like running with her arms closed. Bless her heart. And honestly, that was probably pretty traumatic for her. Like in her head, she was probably like, "Oh my god!" Like she was 14.
I know.
I would be the same.
Terrible. I guess it's the next day again. And they are with GK, and they are reading the article. He has written it. He's going to be turning it in. He's going to be keeping his job. Clearly, he's no longer a drinker, and he's going to have
Prize winning. It's the best thing he's ever written.
Yep, exactly. So he thanks them for helping him, and the girls are like, "Why don't you come back to the United States and finish your trilogy?" And he's like, "I don't know. Guess I'll have to write another book and figure it out." Oh, that's great. We've fixed everything about this damaged man that we don't fucking know.
Yeah.
End of that plot, Paul. I'm happy to report to you, this plot is over.
Thank God. I hate it.
And he says the book, he will write it and dedicate it to them.
I've hated it since I was a kid.
Yeah. And as he recites the dedication he's going to write, it flows with florid language and creativity and expressing and how they...
I don't give a shit.
And
it's done. Close it.
Yeah. And then they walk away off into the Parisian sunset, arm in arm, like you do when you're 40 and you have 2 goddamn teenagers with you. Mm-hmm. Just got to state that for the 20,000th time.
Go back to Cincinnati, Herb.
And that is the end of part 3 for those
my God.
watching them.
Are we done?
We're on the final part 4 of 4.
Oh my God, I gotta stretch.
And guys, 80% of part 4 is Blair walking around in an ugly fucking yellow sundress with a matching hat.
She looks like Carmen Sandiego.
She does. And it's like big, puffy sleeves with gatherings at the cuffs.
Very 82.
And we're talking like the skirt is gathered and ruffled. And again, it's somebody in costuming going, this goddamn pig woman is a size 6. And I don't know how do you cost a size? Nobody makes clothes in a size 6. I have to get a circus tent to put on this fucking fatso.
This pig woman.
That was ironic humor.
This camera. They was like, camera adds 10 pounds. How many cameras are on her? But see, okay, here's the thing. These people that love to, quote unquote, remember the 80s, don't remember that that's what it was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No,
it wasn't all neon and fucking...
all the fun stuff. No, there was so much shitty.
That shit.
It was the Brady Bunch house in the very Brady Christmas movie.
Yes.
All that redesign, all the whole,
Yes.
let's show what they would have updated in the house.
Yeah.
In the, and oh my
So
God.
it's kind of good in that way that it's an actual print of what it was like in the 80s. Like, because I noticed Blair's hair, while it looks like it's full of hairspray, is not full of hairspray.
No.
It's just
It's
huge.
It's just big, and because they're filming on location, it's just teased
All over
out
the place.
all over everywhere. So Blair, ugly yellow dress, ugly yellow hat, Carmen Sandiego.
Mm-hmm.
She goes into a bookstore, has a nice little conversation with the store owner, goes to buy a book. No, it is a gift. You may keep it. Are you fucking kidding?
Because you're American and I have a daughter in Cleveland.
Yeah, that's right. It's just such the trope of the book. No, it's a gift. I'm not here to make a living or earn a career or feed a family.
Right.
It's more important that you're just a pretty woman I like.
I am French.
Yeah, that's isn't Paris such a romantic city where things like that really happen? Anyway, as Blair leaves the bookstore,
She'd more likely charge her twice the book, twice
Exactly.
the price of the book because she's a fucking American.
Yeah, you fucking, it is
And he's Parisian.
It is 4,000 francs, you piece of shit. I fart in your general direction. I wave my private parts at your aunties. Matthew snarfed again. I'm sorry. So then, as Blair leaves and walks down the street, she walks on one side of a car. On the other side of a car, David and Joe.
Oh.
And they walk in, and they walk into the bookstore. That's the bookstore where David works.
Crazy.
It was a near miss. Oh my God.
But which would be fine, which is fine, but we have not established at any other point that they are looking for each other or why?
Yeah.
Why did this happen? Like, they know there's no reason for them to like not be like, hey Joe, I'll see you tomorrow. You know what I mean?
I agree. It wasn't
if that's the plot point, there's no reason for them to miss each other.
Yeah, agreed. Totally agree.
They're not like lost in Paris and it's like, oh, they almost found each other.
Yeah.
No.
I agree. So then we get to the tasting of Mrs. Garrett's final project at the cooking school. She is praying and nervous. And Chef Antoine says, c'est bon. Very bon.
Very bon.
Matthew lost his shit
Well,
over the ill-Americanized French. Oh, my God. Anyhow, he is like, this lobster, you have created an original and subtlety. And are these shallots? And of
course he has.
Shallots, you cannot put shallots with lobster. Mrs. Garrett says, if you do it with sweet butter.
sweet butter.
Sweet butter with lobster? It's like she just split the atom, cured cancer, and solved world peace. And therefore, she is able to get her whatever certificate, her whatever. But it was a success, and she's happy, and yay. Then we go back to Blair walking around Paris. And then we come back.
Which is still walking.
Another montage.
She walks
another
forever.
montage.
It doesn't look good on her.
And at one point, when she walks by, there's another woman in a brighter yellow dress
Yeah.
behind her. That
White people generally shouldn't wear yellow.
Yeah,
as
thank you.
As a rule.
Yeah. Well, my mom tells me don't wear yellow because she's like, you're gonna just
You're
be
gonna look like the ball of sunshine.
Yeah, exactly. But the woman behind her looked better.
And it didn't help that she was also a thinner woman, and that the dress had about 1/10 the amount of fabric as Blair's billows and festoons that were trying to camouflage this heifer body.
Yeah, it's just, and they said it really sucks going through puberty in front of a camera.
Yeah.
In front of the United States, in front of America.
Well, Eddie Munster had been saying that for 30 years.
Yeah,
like he was always that guy again. Like, and Donna Reed's son was always against child labor laws on TV and shit.
Oh, it's true.
Kids shouldn't be on TV.
Yeah.
I was kind of in love with Wally.
Well, and again, it was the 80s, so thin was different in the 80s than thin is now. I mean, we as a society weren't as fat as
I
we are
personally
now.
feel in the 80s.
So they were probably a size 10.
But I really feel like in the 80s, like physical, like when you think of like
Cocaine
let's get
was big.
physical.
Yeah, cocaine
was huge. But you
the
think,
fitness craze.
But you think of like Olivia Newton-John, let's get physical, whatever. But I just felt like people were still they were still a good healthy weight. They still had some meat on them. It wasn't.
But have you ever met you've met TV stars, haven't you?
Yeah.
They're always rail fucking thin.
And but they always look older.
Like Kelly Ripa could hide behind this microphone stand.
Yeah.
Yes. And like
Julie Bowen on Modern Family.
Oh my God! You
Yeah,
can
she's
see her
like a
shoulder
skeleton.
blades.
Yeah. So then we go back to Edna at Antoine's restaurant, and Pierre shows up, and she's wearing her chef hat, and he congratulates her. She earned her chef's hat, and the other people in the class applaud Pierre. And he's like, what is going on? And she says, I told them how you helped me and inspired me to create my finale, my final exam dish. And then Antoine is like, these two little things that you told Edna to do with that lobster, well, clearly you're a master chef. I'm going to come to your restaurant. Yeah. I'm going to talk you up to Paris, and you're going to become a famous chef. You're welcome.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, because that happens.
Yeah.
But anyhow, the scene ends with the excitement of Edna and Pierre both having a success, and they sort of are in each other's arms, jumping around, and we get the kiss on the cheek, and then they end up on the lips, and it's like, oh.
You want to show the audience how that happened?
But in the future.
Did you want to use me to show?
In the future.
Do you want to be Edna?
No.
Well, then we go back to
Blair walking around Paris.
Blair walking around Paris. You're right.
We're going back.
This time she's approached by a fucking hot dude.
She should have just gone with him.
Ken Barnett from Chicago. We are not even going to talk about how they meet or whatever.
No, he's cute.
But basically, he is hot. He's got a sweater over his shoulders, so he's clearly rich and of her class.
But like before that, every ugly, crazy person approached her.
And she was like, "Oh,
hello. You're so sexy." And I'm like, "No, he's not." And then the one that actually shows up and says, "Do you want to?" And I get it.
She blows the rape whistle immediately. Like as soon as she turns around.
Thank you.
She's like,
"No." But I get it. She's like, "No, I want to spend time by myself." But I'm like, "But that's the one that you say no to. Right. The other ones you gave time, but they were gross and weird and." It's just strange.
And he asks her, says, well, hey, I'm feeling you wanna grab a bite for lunch, and she's like, no, actually, I'm okay.
But I'm like, good for Blair.
Well, I mean, good for Blair in the sense that from a feminism standpoint, the idea that you're hinging your entire trip on whether you meet a guy versus the whole crux of her story is that she learned to be alone. She learned that sometimes when you're in Paris, being in Paris is enough.
I feel like the underlying theme of Blair's storyline is that sometimes you just want to masturbate.
No.
Like, you know what I mean?
You don't need any help. I got it.
And I've always said to people, that's the beauty of being gay, because men understand.
Yeah.
Like, when I'm done, go ahead, clean up. I will finish up right here. And there's no hard feelings.
Wow.
I get it.
Wow. So then we go to Joe helping out at the bookstore.
Oh my God, we're only there?
We're still there.
I've been at Joe's Goodbye for 45 minutes. Joe's Goodbye.
That's it.
No.
Nobody.
Joe's at the bookstore. And so this is where she has this place. I've never been here before, and yet I feel like a part of me is there.
Good.
This is her. This is another crying moment, and I'm so happy. And
she's a good dramatic actress.
With you, I feel like I'm at home. Is kind of what it is. And another kiss. We go to commercial, and now we are in the final act of this. This movie goes on for fucking ever.
Blair's still walking around Paris.
Okay.
Well, at this point, we're not. We're all now back at Mrs. Garrett's room. We come back from commercial, and we're at Mrs. Garrett's room, and everyone is gathering their luggage and getting ready. Yes. And Blair comes in, and they're like, "So, Blair, where have you been?" And she says, "I have had a wonderful time walking around the city and not masturbating." Matthew, stop.
She sniffs her fingers and
Stop.
goes,
No!
What?
It didn't happen.
No!
It doesn't happen.
I'm kidding.
So she says, when she says she's had a wonderful day, the girls all turn and almost in unison go, "What's his name?"
Yeah.
Huh? What's the name of the guy?
Rosie Palm.
No. But it was one of those like, well, Blair, if you said you had a good time, obviously you weren't alone. You had to have another human being. Because you are a codependent bitch.
I had Thumbelina and her 4 sisters.
No. So, Matthew, put your hand away, please. But the thing is, the girls are all like, "I'm so sad to go home." We are still worried about Joe. Mrs. Garrett points out that we have not heard from Joe since she took off. And they're like, she's supposed to meet us at the airport.
Since she started walking north.
Yep, exactly.
We haven't heard from Joe.
But Mrs. Garrett's like, she'll meet us at the airport. She will be there. And then we cut to Joe kissing David goodbye. Joe is wearing a members-only jacket to die for. That's the one good costuming thing. And that's because I want to wear that members-only jacket. But there's a goodbye, tears, Joe. And the trope we just did is the whole thing of I walked over to you, Matthew, and I said, "Matthew, I have something really serious I need to discuss." And then I turned my back to you so that we would get the angle of the two people and you looking over that trope of when you're acting for the camera of turning your back to the person that you're talking to is so fucking unnatural and ridiculous. And we do it on stage all the time. It's just a way you have to do it. And it's our job to make it look natural. But, oh my God, it's like you're in love with this guy and you have to leave him. So as you contemplate how hard it is to leave him, let's turn your back to him. You don't want to get every glimpse that you can.
I don't want him to see me cry. I don't want him to see me cry.
Oh. So while Joe is tearfully saying goodbye, and she actually says, "I don't know how to say goodbye." And he's like, "You just said it, you stupid bitch."
He's so beautiful, though.
No, he was nice to her. And he's like, "No, we will see each other again."
Yes, they're never.
And I don't want, she says, "I don't want to leave you."
It'll never happen.
Joe, and guys, let's make light of this. This is the best part of the movie. Watching Joe Polnicek fall in love
with a man.
And
I know.
And then have to play about losing it and having to say goodbye to him. This is the only redeeming factor in the film. But while she's saying goodbye to him, Blair is collecting the luggage separate from where the others are.
Very important.
And Blair sees Joe with him. And then when Joe comes inside, Blair sees that Joe is still a fucking mess.
Her wife is in distress.
No.
It's true. It's true.
And so she's like, "Are you okay?" And Joe's like, "Yeah, I'll be okay." And then they go up this escalator. Horrible sound. They're in like a wind tunnel. And it's like,
Matthew,
and it was like, who was that? Oh, it was just, how was Le Mans? Was it a great adventure? And what did you do? And then they get up there. And then as they pass the camera on the elevator, it pans, and perfectly framed in the window outside is David standing there looking longingly up towards the airport.
And as corny as all three of us went, oh!
I absolutely did. I absolutely did. I want him to be there.
3 teenage girls
we
watching this. We were like, oh!
No, I absolutely wanted him to be there.
We are such pushovers for that shit.
I wish I were kidding.
Yeah. So when they get to the gate, the girls are all like asking Joe, "How are you? What'd you do? How was Le Mans? How was the adventure?" And Blair quickly runs interference. So
this is where I wrote down Blair for the win.
Blair for the win.
Well, she does.
This is where she shows herself once again
to be
as I'm your best fucking friend.
Yeah. I mean, when the chips are down.
I'm your ride or die, bitch.
It's true.
When the chips are down, they always come through for each other. And Blair runs interference and says, hey, girls, she's tired. How about we get our stuff together and give us a minute? So she runs interference. And as the girls all go off to the gate, we do have one more laugh for Mrs. Garrett because we have to get our Mrs. Garrett. And it's like, and the girls are like, we didn't even call. We wondered if you were okay. And she says, yeah, I'm sorry you guys were worried. And Mrs. Garrett goes, worried? No, we weren't worried. Where were you? Comedy gold.
Yeah.
Comedy gold. Because that's Mrs. Garrett. Yep. So we had to get that one last laugh in for Charlotte Rae. And then as they go off, we have one more Blair and Joe moment where Joe thanks Blair tearfully. Joe is still a fucking mess. And you pointed out, guys, you were like, who is it that said, in some of the shots, you can still see the puffy eyes. Like they clearly said, okay, print that, moving on, next shot. We're not taking a break. You're still, wipe your tears and we're starting over. So Joe is still a mess, and she thanks Blair for...
You maybe wonder if little Nancy McKeon fell in love with this kid a little bit while she was over there.
He was so cute. I would fall
You
in love
think
with
so?
him.
Like, maybe, like, how real was it? How real was it?
He was...
Because they had to kiss and everything. She's 15.
And you showed me his picture.
She's
I
16
didn't mind it.
Yeah. Remember,
But
Nancy
she was kissing him then.
And remember, Nancy McKeon is 16.
Yeah.
Joe is 18.
Yeah.
But Nancy McKeon is 16.
I love your obsession with them.
I love my obsession, too.
I just wonder if, like, she filmed it.
It's all about their
I know.
ages. I'm like, oh, it's okay. It's okay.
What'd you say?
I just wonder if it was a little bit real to Nancy McKeon.
Oh, maybe she... I mean, who
goodbye.
knows? To be a 16-year-old and play those
like
love scenes...
They filmed it in order. I feel
Yeah,
like
I'm
they filmed it.
They did. And then they all get on the plane... And then as the plane takes off, what do they sing? What the fuck?
What the hell
I'm
is
gonna
that?
keep them down on the farm.
How you gonna keep them down on the farm after they've seen Paree? How you gonna keep them? And then they start laughing.
What is that song? What
I
is
have
it?
no idea.
Okay, here we go. How you gonna keep them down on the farm after they've seen Paree is a World War I song that rolls...
That all teenage girls were singing in 1982.
Thank you, vaudevillian writers, because this was a song your fucking grandparents sang to you.
They had to choose between that. They didn't want to pay the rights to Over There.
Yeah,
By
or
George M.
I
Cohan.
love Paris in the springtime, which Mrs. Garrett sang in season 1.
She did.
She did. They could have, but yeah, 1919 is when it was written. I will find a video of this. Maybe I can find a kinetoscope on YouTube. But yeah. All right. So that explains it, because I didn't hear that at all. To me, they started singing a song that I had never heard.
Yeah.
And it was nice to know that you two agreed.
Previous reference to it or anything.
No.
So they didn't sing it on the plane.
It was just like,
going to.
we need a song about with the word Paris in it that doesn't cost any money.
And they chose that one.
A World War I song. Well, gentlemen, we are at the end. Let's final thoughts on the movie. What would you give it on a A, B, C, D, F? What would you give it on a scale?
Oh, God, when I was a kid, it would be amazing. But
A plus to a child.
Yeah, but now, like a C minus. Like, it's not a good show. But
What about you, Matthew? What grade would you give it?
Oh, I think because I remember the excitement of seeing my favorite characters in something else. Like, this is the time when, like, I think, like, shows like Circus of the Stars. And the Olympics. What was that show that they did?
The Battle of the Network Stars.
Is on, where you'd see, like, Thelma Harper
playing tug of war with Suzanne Summers.
Exactly. Doing the breaststroke with Michael J. Fox. There's a video of him in that, and he's just swinging around in his little shorts, Michael J. Fox. Mm-hmm. I dated him early in the 80s.
Wait a minute. You dated Michael J. Fox?
Went to the Dairy Queen. Both times we went on a date. I had the sundaes, he had the shakes. My question about this movie is that I want to know what it was like to film it for these girls. Obviously, they were best friends. They're still to this day, call each other sisters. But Joe is away from the rest of the cast for the entire movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as is Mrs. Garrett.
So, like, I was wondering, like, how it was to actually film this, because they were hardly together.
They weren't together.
Yeah.
So,
which
like,
makes you wonder, was there a second unit director?
But, like, I compare it to, like, Mark Hamill talks about filming Empire Strikes Back and how that was the episode.
He was away with Yoda in his little corner.
For 5 weeks, it said cast call sheet Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
And he's like, I didn't see anybody during that movie.
Yeah.
So I just wonder what it was like for these girls. I mean, obviously, they weren't filming 24 hours a day, and they were probably having a great time with each other.
And stayed at the same hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably came together at the end of the day.
Poor things.
But I wonder if to save, having a film crew and a film camera is expensive. So that's why it's, a single camera. But you wonder if they didn't say, okay, well, in the interest of time to crank this out fast, we're going to have a second unit director and a separate crew. This was clearly filmed on like 16 millimeter. I don't think this was even on 35 millimeter like the cheapest 1970s movie. I really think this was on 16. So let's wrap this up, guys. We've dreamt of this moment. The movie's over. So guys, we did it.
I had no idea that we were still on air.
Yeah. What did you think?
What did you think about how we were talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Granted, this is the conversation we would have had anyway if we had hung out and not been recording a podcast. But guys, thank you so much. We pulled this together very quickly on very short notice, and I can't believe I got you guys here. It was like not even 48 hours we pulled it together. So thank you for this, and I'm so thrilled because now I can move on and kick off season 4, the final Eastland season. And so I will just say I love you guys for doing this, and thank you so much, and many smooches.
You're welcome.
I'm so excited that I got to hang out with Matthew Arter and
me
and you too
and me.
Yes,
yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, good time.
I see how you are. Good night. And there you have it. That was Matthew Arter and Paul Padilla, winding up our 2-week jaunt into the land of baguettes and bœuf bourguignon and fromage and all the other words that they mispronounce on the Facts of Life. It was a journey, all right, and we kind of wished it had been a little bit better, but oh well, their first TV movie, it is what it is. And when the chips are down, we did get more of Nancy McKeon crying. And that's really the most important thing. Anyhow, let's move on. Next week, we are actually going to officially begin Season 4, Episode 1. And that episode is titled Ain't Miss Beholden. That's 3 words. You see what they did there? It's a little play on words. My guest, of course, it's a season premiere, so Matthew's going to be back. It's going to be me and Matthew Arter, and we're going to have so much fun, and I hope you will come back and join us again for it. So that's all. Thank you, as always, for listening to the show, and remember, the facts of life are all about you. Let's Face the Facts was produced, written, hosted, and edited by me, David Almeida. My theme song was beautifully arranged and recorded by Ned Wilkinson. Our website is facethefactspod.com. You have to drop the let's. And that's where you can find extra pictures, video, and audio extras from the digital cutting room floor. Follow the show on social media. We're everywhere under the handle Face the Facts Pod. And don't forget, go to your favorite podcatchers and subscribe, rate, and review. Tune in again next week for another thrilling episode of Let's Face the Facts.